Hi, so I'm going to start with a very big question, which is what is cultural sentiment? It's pretty important for ACT to get right. And I'm going to throw out two possible ways that we could measure it. And what I want to think about is which one do we think is really matching what we want to be measured. So one way to do it, to define cultural sentiment and a culture's beliefs, is just ask a bunch of people what they think. Right? Ask them EPA ratings and then average them and use the mean as that's what the culture thinks on average. I call these first order beliefs. This would be just personal beliefs. My reading of surveying cultures, Dave uses this type of language as instructions, rate your feelings about different concepts. An alternative would be to ask perceptions of which you think most people think. Okay, I call these generalized second order beliefs. I'll explain the term because I made it up. A second order belief is just what you think someone else thinks. So that could be a single other person, your interaction partner, what do you think they think. But you can abstract that out to broader levels. So I could be thinking, what do all affect control theorists think? Or I can abstract all the way up to the society or the culture. So what do I think most people in the culture or the generalized other things? So that's my idea there. Stereotype concept model, for example, in psychology asks these types of things. How do you think these identities are viewed by others? So the first question is, okay, we could pretty easily ask one or the other, does it actually make a difference? The answer is yes, sometimes. So on the x-axis is potency, so groups further to the right are rated as more powerful. On the y-axis is a bunch of identities that I had people rate. It's a between subjects experiment, so the red confidence intervals are people that were asked for their personal beliefs or their first order beliefs. And then the blue confidence intervals are people that I asked for their generalized second order, or their perceptions of what most people think. I've ordered the graph in a way that emphasizes trends. The really powerful groups over here to the right, there tends to be a match between what people actually think and then how they perceive, or what they think the culture perceives them as. Over here on the left, we're starting to see more discrepancies. So these are groups that we see as relatively weak or powerless. And there tends to be, again, this mismatch between how we think the culture sees them and how people actually report their personal beliefs. So this is starting to convince you maybe we should care about which one of these we choose, because sometimes they do actually make a difference. But as all good Bayesians know, right, the mean is only one moment of the distribution, and there's actually some important implications beyond just the means. So this is just one identity. This is I had them rate the identity of welfare recipient. And so in red, again, is the first order of personal beliefs, and in blue is the generalized second order, or what most other people think. And so we can see here there's more cultural consensus with the blue. In other words, we tend to recognize and report the same thing about how society views welfare recipients as very, very weak. There's much more variability in what people personally think about welfare recipients, including quite a lot of people that think they're pretty powerful. That's all I'll say about that, I think. All right, so it makes a difference. It makes a difference at multiple moments in the distribution. So let's go back to the question about which one should we actually measure. My opinion, but I'm really just throwing this out for discussion fodder, but my first thought is actually generalized second order matches classic symbolic interactionist ideas, is that the culture is what we perceive it to be. And Dave's arguments in surveying culture, that people are just reporters of the culture, and people themselves might not be the culture. And it's somewhat immaterial whether you're right or not. Right, so you might view the culture thinking welfare recipients are like this, and even if people don't think that, is that what matters, or is it just what we perceive the culture to be? I think that's a slightly different question. It's an empirical question about if we actually plug one or the other in to the equations, which one would predict the behavior better. I have some ideas I can't get to, but I can talk to you in Q&A if you're interested, about really incorporating this into Bayes Act. Actually, I think we should probably be thinking about both of them together. If you're interested, you can ask. Thanks to Dave for inspiring all of this. I thought the perfect talk in honor of Dave was one that was about methods and theory. And thank you to Donlin and Brian for inviting me. Thanks.